All right.
That was a good idea.
Ye cheche obia. Ye check see every era one for Eddie Bremo. Mama nim se mama tightie ye no. Edre numre sam media na eye school komo. De bia so ye hye mo ba ye di so. Nti enden so ye di enkomo hia enam. Se bia fe na wo hwe ye ya school komo eye dwumedi a ye fa so edi boa educate ye community, especially Ghanaian community in the diaspora. Efa ye mba any families ho. Nyama o se ye hu ne ye nim na ne pese ye sua. Nti ya na edi nkofo nyama monim nim de efa aba mama be kyerɛkyerɛ ye bi. Ne mi anso minim no na me de aba. Nti enden so nyame ye ya dom ye nya mba kesifo mienu nimdiefo mienu bi pa te se ne de nyame ya adom ye pa ya otu gold kese bi de abafidi so enti no se na da ye no remember omo akwenya na omo introduce omo na before that no yenim se era 1 for na ma yesa akwenya we nti de asida kese be ma era 1 radio 4 so mo dwen Ghanaian community omo akwenti mu se yemfe fidie so na fa nkyerɛkyerɛ ye ho nyama bebre nti era 1 for ye dam wase nti mi susu mi na mi ye mo cha me Miss Millie school komodie wo ke bi na wesua bi nti yesa so mama akwa abebium nti ne medical every sister Ellen so obeda no ho edi kakra che oye hwan oye Ghana ni ofri hi ni ade na adwuma wo ye sentia waba ya homa yeso nti sister Ellen enko
me mamunyina majo ana asanya kanu
we okay pa.
Okay, me a lawyer wa hano Atlanta metro area hano. Me a family law. Me din the lane amankwa neatmen. Okay, amankwa ni free papa din so. Neatmen ni free me kunu din so. My practicing law for close to 10 years. Me sha CSMA practicing na me a criminal law. Inti my evolve is say me a family law. Inti I look forward to Komona Evidian. That was it.
Yeah, that was it. Metie for summary amati introduction there to send ya focus ro pa. Enti no, obetimi a share link no ya call live. Nti betimi ato safro bi send there nkoma ebedi no. Lawyer for wo mu. Ntema ye ni mo bebie so a kire ye. Sister efu anso de wa basoda. Baby ana and then we first time ubetie no. Nti ne be masama no kwan no ono shada no ho edibiem e de a kire ye.
Okay, me that's it. You were here for your master said, Maji, a Brenna Muti, your family for Kubiti. Me a Ghana ni 100%. Yeah, me a social worker. So I think say, more so what year that me baha. Yes, as a social worker, then so now me kasa in a different capacity. Well, not so different, but now you kasa about autism near there. But child welfare and no na become wasem na eno de my first love make us professionally that's my first love like that's where me started my social work profession free enti adibia da makoma so ankasa enti me ni age say ma join anyway ene dwumedi no enti da mase so mo so ma gibre na mutie
yo ya mamu akwaba me so de muni me dada me teacher ni training me trade o Ghana na me ba ha so me trade wo so a wa ben me anum se nkola any youth any families ehu hia me yie pa ti ya na me ni ye me nkola me komodie nyina no ya na kofa nkola titiru any student na school for ho nti na me so no me din no me de Miss Millie Millicent Yale ba ya teacher for the am for Miss nti no me did say Miss Millie very quick to remember nti no yesa so mama kwa bebium na ende ye dwumedie no sronku esan se ye wa wetu kwan kakra no abeti se ha de ye mbonkola ha de ye abambeje oba ha de ye nja ye ba ofie things like that yeti yesi sa ebi enukre ebi so ya ne ya bie mu kese ma na abro so ye hunehura de hunehura nkofo enu nteno ye de dwumedie so ma edwumayefo am wasa biedie ya na ya befa ye ba yesi wanye ni ye wejaba na ofie no social worker for edwuma na nyame amboa so na se koba ne se ya je oba so a family lawyer so etimi bem ntemu mienu aba ha die na kese nde ye ndie mu pa na ye wo no omumbie biem na nya nti ase yi ne hu ne ye betimi aye ene ne ye ntimi nye eno na ye bedi enhu nkomo nti to put it together, no, we are talking about child protection services. A kwanya on mine and I say Chrome higher one US and Omutimi Bon Kolahu buying Jumedia Hudra, Amubon Kolahu by 170 case. If you have pan or Mupesa Mojo Obano, and I say Obano here Munti, and Omo Hessa or Bata Bay with Jumeyi, meaning a pese, and they yet in Wasson. Now say, one to me and Yena Samba one. Let us also lawyer be my den a bit in Yanti, and Muntina Yaba and then anyway. Into a big camera costs for her. You got child protection services, and I said, a Juma a bomb of Frown Banya, a den or me one for me a police for an answer me a soldier for an army one because any is strong. But one may anti a second cry.
Yeah. Some now what can you will be a CPS for some, especially in Africa for but I think say almost sure because in say omunya anti say no papa into ASA and air custom we see. So senior dino representing a child protective service or more hosa on crown pint. You name say a cry just even by virtue of their age, no we are vulnerable. Into na nyakopon po de omushe our phone sans and the omabi as omu ye vulnerable omu fie no omu cognitively adwin mu no omu ntimi enye niama bi mo omu physically impo omu ntimi enye niama bi omu ni anwodin omu ntimi mfa adwin bi like making decisions and abibi na nyakopon de obi a share parents sa say onhwe ne so na say even de nyakopon de ne ma no kra oniwa ya na ban hihye mu no oye other means akra ne benya obi obehwe no ama akra so etimi live good life intino child protective service no omudwumadi omuye nyina ne so omu make sure say nkra safe nkra protected just because omu ni ahodin bi wo kwan bebre so no intino e was aban de hye eto na odebo omu ho ban say mpo no owufo no to ehu tichima bia eya na enye omu niama omu ye ne so omu beji akra but sometimes no omu wo ho se ne omu be tinitini even awofo na de omu ya omu nye niye no omaye intino in some no child protective service no me fa ne say a wing in child welfare omu dia ne say omu dia say obi be report say ebia mami we why ne ba say na say school be report say akra yi say ni say omu dia ne some be pie na o makohwehwem no ma make sure say and so asema nipa ne kan etisa na entisa ana say etisa de na ebe ye entisa so de na ebe ye nti omu de omu ya no omu bon kra ho ban nti omu they are the first responders when it comes to any kind of child. And I mean I'll take that back, but within the child welfare system, yes, they are the responders of any suspected abuse or neglect, like just to put it, in some into the omuya no.
Okay, wait there. I'm say omo etie me no and omo akuma beto omo yem kakra. Na me pese ebia na brofo no CPS no. Ebia na aye new me kra no me new kakra because what we know a lot of time social workers aba me fi social workers for ehwehwe me. Nti social workers me gidi say omo share CPS for na say adwuma na bomba ko me bua say sa.
So child welfare, we can say any na child welfare, under the child welfare and cry a year dear. What child welfare anymore? Different things. So about social services now. And when I usually who social workers they bring CPS no it's a wing in the child welfare whole system anymore. Social workers na usually say ejuma. Enti obi CPR friend social worker na just say social worker no ye ejuma as a child protective service for neho. Enti no social worker mean na ntimbo bi face am befaneba unless even though me a social worker, right? Enti unless say me ye ejuma social services under the child protective service division no. And son into child services nimuna na the beer baby foster care, adoption, family preservation, even food stamps, OFI, sana from Georgia High from Office of Independent Office of Family Independence, OFI, yeah. Into Munina watch social services na say. Into Uko social services na Uko DFAX office or Georgia High, Kraka. But Obiani there way CPS for no or Muna say Obi friend and I can was a so Obi friend say be yes suspect say be a crabby say Omuna Mobeba Bunt. It's a now and probably no more social workers. Into a case social workers about me fear and insanity.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah, there was a who church me panning in Ayasa and Tiasiano. Madam Ellen, Attorney Ellen Pacho, Udi Kakrabeka Huana, Ude Mijidi say, where shall buy tiny baby? I be a modu my uncle, ye may do my beshe, or my form. Ghana Casa, because I bet you, Intino.
Senior Mimessia Shasi and say, you were criminal and you were civil. The first thing I say, Kamepese Miss Madame Fua Betchum say, a dear Benny definition of abuse. By law, the church room say abuse, no, SAS setting young. There's different degrees of abuse. Okay. There's child abuse,
yeah, me did say, sir, a honomono. Yet me want some beside a brewer, Hannah Winton, me did say, some read the person Crawford here, see near Moye, but baby, I'll do corner, Sister Lynn. Ubenya with Chama make a crabby say, a beba honomono, say, Ubi, Eden will be whom bassam, Edena, Edia CPS for no, Omoka share parent because show monster. Until Honor now, what be mamma me. Until me did say. Nti me gidi say ne wa kyerɛkyerɛ sɛ ɔne ne yɛ adwen bebree dia ne kɛsɛ bɛtoa so nti questions bi bɛba afei bɛhu ne nti a saa CPS fo no bɛba wo fie na maka sɛ dabi ade wo de wanyɛ ne yie abuse we nti yɛ de abɔfra no bɛkɔ anasɛ bra na bɛyi wo no ho ano mpatwɛ yɛ bɛdu hɔ and then kɔmɔ no ɛbɛyɛ dɛ nti yɛkɔ ne kakra nti no mpatwɛ wɔ bi dia bɛtumi aka ha
I mean say so who maybe they meaning from my experience because I'm here with juvenile court Accra. Oh, say CPS no who abuse ni ria. Na a prosecutors need the back quarter. Na after who nipa no either who be lawyer and I say one case of the representative who juvenile court ho. A hona case no umbedi assembly. Into a hono part na me meaning that as to whether or not how it gets there, not yet. And no, I think say on the bit much actual. But so we drew court no honum dia no makase abuse no high a friend a deprivation case. A honum no. So we need to cast out to lawyer with me apply no mama lawyer. So won't me so who are cast out lawyer to swap with me the number. Now on no obedi was a mama. No, I can't say maybe abuse me ho and I say it was misinterpreted. Whatever your case is, no, but can't record so on. No, almost almost evidence about pictures and I say testimony and our witnesses now. A honor, this. So I don't know. So that answer the question.
Yeah. What me? Time say. Like I said before, who be mono. Like I say, case be established. CPS for koyo mo edwuma mo say we dey nko ya bofra we ni ahwe ya. Na bra bone nko bebi ese ko nti no obatan ana abatan mo besin ko yimu ano obatan no fi se bia there be nyesa na tie dia na se attorney Eli no ho na wo su bem na behwehwe mu nti ne ebekwa ebewu se ebedu be report cha bebem nti no ebedu amehia attorney Eli se edu be a san na wo fa so eboa ema abatan no bi no mo se ana se omra no ho se there be nya abatan ni fault ebia bibi nti e na akwa ne santi ebedu ho no nti me da se what kind of parts and they are so sister for the and say case in about how they are pen and measure who say no cray and I no cray. Until yes, Ako so be near ye be sister for and some now a boy say a bed and a quack would say as some will put a abuse and I say yeah abuse. Until me next question my sister for say a quine band so about my church me questions in it me share the abandoned there. Come me share bi pa nti o say this say for me bi say den na mutimi to anamon wo hwa se bi munye magic ana munye magicians mo say fie we bibi nko yakola we ne hu nti hwa mo na mo di nsam ne brem hwa mo na obi be saka se Ghana kasa hwa mo na ya mo be di kokonsa ne de kire na utimi to anamon be me fie say me hwe me be yi ana sa bofra we o say yakoboa na
No problem, you. And some there if I can be braced so never. It is to say, establish CPS the year. Who call defects office be our CPS worker because every defects office be I was say, be a send by a friend and all the quabble in acquisition or money CPS phone. To see, now quite be braced. So, schools to me, obia to me reporting. Let me say that everybody can call. They say Georgia Hano a 1-855 Georgia child. That's the number. How be friend. So suspect and I am a catcher and say you don't have to know whether or not there's an abuse or neglect. And essentially, attorney Kano. I think say we have to break it down what we are even talking about in terms of abuse because there are different kinds of abuse and child protective service. Abuse now you're dealing with. It might not be the same as what a criminal lawyer or other lawyers will be dealing with. Questions maybe
we were serious because they're pie cost. Don't rush. We are better to ask.
Okay. It's quite a bit. Obia betting a friend number available to Obia into anybody somebody passing by who freely say great. I said there's some level of abuse or neglect or some level of imminent like safety issues basically. Maybe a great BB and one is offering and now no be analyze say I'm pa na CPS juma do their friend to be a bit me a friend and a bind so a nyansemuno what they be a friend of mandated reporters until be our ye juma only a crabia ye juma even we a volunteer crana we a mandatory reporter by this I we now say a crabia ebia tibiano yet who sense say crazy as a bibin quay as a cray danger be or home crana and was a friend and a bind show kitten say free into any choice into and what some of the beginning school teachers they be our own cra into a crab school maybe they be a cray or down class disturbing a crowd or sound down at class next their own best teacher any who be beside me into teachers one no medical concern and doctors and say be a profession be or more shame cry mobile in contact with them cry kwan biase biano abansha almost say we shall not be being koye wa krana braboma again me pese me sisi biase nipa no nyese wo so yes sure say abuse be or one neglect ones our friend as long as say bia bibi can say akrabia bibi kwan so yeah very obvious say bia who baby a try any kwan say try who say I was saying reporting obia to me ebe can sem natural every number no report CPS obia to me friend now so empo oma yes show my buying show my show me said it was on by like come with me or some munye no omo na from mandatory reporters no so more baby daycare service centers, schools, hospitals, police, every baby omo until omo na ya omo reporting.
Me that's the power there. I must see so far, bro. Where the one I will want me say me teacher. It's in okay. Me the past way you teacher. Where you teacher for every assembly because I dey be say teacher no ko kan ye. And then the achewa be tie me bia no teacher for yen sorry keke enko frɛ aban ma mo say wonhwɛ oba ne ye yen hye de ma ye. Ye be enche be school. Training na ye nyina no so ka ho bi. Nti no te say na wo ka no. Enya ade o se me hu se eyampa na se nyampa menya hu san kitikiti bi kra na o se metimi ema e bia me penyi se school mu a o se me ma me principal na se me supervisor hu so abofra wo me class no hu se bibi se e koso e san se yen so kra no we are mandatory reporter na wa anya wadwuma yi a e bitimi be count utimi lu so license ye hu se you are wa sheda pesa wo kata nyama so a me hu betimi a kire me nti no ye required say tem ye ni be common ba no especially special need in kola omo ntimi nkasa me kasa me fa me hu se me special need teacher nti no eno no ehya ye pa because bibi ya kwa no ofia ontimi enka And as our best school crown mekanti me and also me a advocate to school as a mandatory reporter me who say or you okay and because to be Ukrainian man special need for situations they be o otimi ya na fe ne ma me ne kwati ti no wa ye ne bibi nye se on penny bano but one hwe ya what it why frustrated to betimi di bibi abo bano betimi ya ne bibi na wa kasa wenu ho nti mimi oba me school na me hu bibi sana me ni fie ho de ba me nya hu dia so metimi hu se bibi akoso abofra we efie nti most of the time we train teachers come kasa abofra bi ba me say me class me yepa me ni me paraprofessional me say akure bia be school no pa ye share that and me come about time we tie me pa me share that hwehwa abofra no ho me nyi no ho kra na me hwɛ de kwanchi na so achi ni nsemo me nya ho bibi kitipi kra na school ye good bia no be parent ni say oh wo ba ne be school no pa we no ye hu say ne high red oh ni ha ho no ni ha ye say nti no unim dada na unim or so ho na parent no yi ano say see fear because ni etimi sinso ne say sometimes as a teacher man fra parents be o me very funny one friend na we hu fra obekọ akra ne bekọ fi obeka ba akọ back say e see o school ahono na man hwe ya me hu be kire me say me hu na me so me peta batan no ne hu be kire ne tin ma ye din a likely say akra ne ko fi abatan bi opese opeti teacher ni bone no obetimi asan no ho afre school na ka say ne ba be fi no we pra me wa me mehu man ka ho ase no san me yi me ho anu enye yi nti me koka se oh oba na esa na ti a o me bisa sa ada na one frɛ ada na one report nti me slam ne ama me kasa enti ni said enye teacher for pen e yempa abatan na asem e ya sudi a eda ya so se wo de oba ne be hye yen sa yen so ye wa sudi se be make sure say you safe so oba ne be hwe na we pra oba ma me ho a kyere me anasa oba ma ye hu se be bia oba no wo no onye safe sa so na me so se me hu se abofra no efie bi na onye safe ha me pa abofra na asɛmiti no sɛ me ma aban ho sɛ da bi efie na abofra ti me no em sɛ nyama nko yi na ɔmo protecting nti anti family da se pasa wa kyerɛkyerɛ hɔ no yi ɛna nye teacher for nso nko a ɔse please for campaign ni bia wo neighbor ɛka ho bi sometimes I na me fa weni nkosi wadanfo bi oba ofie de bia sɛ da be bia we na ɛkɔka ye wo na ba me fie bia wo neighbor de n'ani ahwa wo ja kra na ofie na maybe because de bi na akɔba maybe na ɔpɛ bia na edi ni san nyama ne pɛ o neighbor betimi afrɛ nti no obi a wo aba parent kra wo tie mi so kra wo ye bia wo sɛ ye titi obi ba na sɛ bi because obi ba bra bom a wo so ye reporter ni bi sɛ na ɔmpɛ sɛ oba ba ye stand so about time we are not blaming here but sometimes situation to me ma bad time be to say nya mo kwa na mo wo mba wo bibi sana to protect akola no or so ma obi who said there be efie we me bibi cost and kola na nye safe for safe you know the reporters ni dey yen nyina nye teacher for pay yen nyina we are adults nko adia you have to for love of kola na mo safety we are all mandatory reporters yen nyina quote and unquote kokonsafo we have to do it for the sake of kola. All right. Attorney Elin, Patrick Bibi Beka Wana.
The outcome is correct. I mean, me were one scenario where na me was school no. That lawyer be ka story be a tre me say ono kra no na ne ba no. Or sorry ano pa na ni ayo call. Say me mfa me e dey on go school because on go school a obi be ko ka me ho asem aka say na me abuse when titira fie na when you know enye yi ansa na
ehili ansa
enti esi ehwe mani I think say the ye ka tra na yen hyeda ntimi yen hyeda enka ye no say any kind of sign of akolane pra and as in akolane health you can't say what you mean the health in
apomodin
no enye papa ena enye papa if we say ni maami na anase ni papa no enye bibia yese ebeboa akla na man ho ye papa no and no na those are signs na ni behwehwe no neglect abuse those sort of signs no se nipa hu a we a mandatory reporter eso report pastor eso report teacher eso report lawyer all these people eso report the be hu a enye okay actually CPS.
Thank you so much. Nti anu kwa we lead me to my next question. Nti na me baby say whether me kind of brofo na me dey akotri mu so that obiati. Me next question is say under what circumstances can African parents be involved with CPS? Edeba nyama na etimi ma obata me to kwa me bepe bibi edi na me raising kola na afei deɛ CPS foɔ me ne ɔmo anya asɛm then na mɛtumi akɔdi saa tibia no mo sɛ nka time a mede bɛkɔ adwuma na afei na mekɔ court afei na mekɔ social work office ne ade then mu bi na yɛyɛ a ɛtumi ma yɛn ho kwan ebie kwan ma yɛkɔnya amanneɛ bi ɛte saa mpakyɛ sisa efoa bɛtumi aboa yɛ
Okay, yeah. So, and when I turn in our can, the basis are CPS for yeah, they and say mono the presence of abuse, any form of abuse, and a child abuse here. We are talking about, and even with the child abuse, you're breaking it down, kakra, and neglect. So, yeah, can child abuse that in the context of social services, and I say child protective service for no, emuno, almost share physical abuse number one. Into physical abuse, idea, yes, say if there's any, maybe breaking physical abuse and so down. So, say, yeah, a cry, physical, that's as the name implies, no, bruise, be one who baby, fracture, bend, cut, even internal injury. If say Dr. Kasakra, like when you have some kind of internal injury, so anything that looks like that, physical abuse and CPS also a mumba and beshishim. And it's a parent who calls CBB Sawa Bahua. Na say do CPS when you ma or me beshishim. Aha. And that's all be who bet me after CPS. Ama into yanshan is to be bruises, fractures, minimum and only chi say a crown way chicha.
We are my bonnet pot off and I say
bruises ne fracture could name a boo. Ewo kwan bi so ai bia e make and pass on ben say bia kra no en dra oba fie free school na bibia nya oba fie ni na ho ahyehye okọ school a ni teacher ni hu sa it can be the teacher bet me adwin say physical abuse and nti e was say mind you whether a physical abuse or any physical abuse or your teacher na adwuma ni say obe confirm me ono de ne say I sense physical abuse because akra ni ho ahyehye nti me frɛ CPS. And that's one form of the abuse. So that physical abuse. You would when you be who are crying. Sexual abuse so say ebia a cry exposing you to sexual stuff. Ebia rape and so of course say sexual abuse. Coerced nudity, like to say a cry forcing ama where you know teacher pictures, a cry or exposing to maybe a sexually explicit neoma. Ni na ye sexual abuse nti ye can sexual abuse enya penetration ko akra ebi obekọ school obekọ ka chen teacher say bia ne maame de pornography chere no sexual abuse. I mean it can be allegedly called like sexual abuse. I was say or frema CPS no be shishim nti sexual abuse is also one category. Touching akra ebi obekọ akọka say na obekọ hospital I be a doctor ne ka say obeka say obi touching ne the doctor na was say and obeka kire obi for that matter panyi bia say obi bia me papa na me mama na panyi bia me ne ti fie ho a o hwe me so and on hwe me so kwa na o fie ho na o de o touch me e wo baby enya me private areas na eni na e can say sexual abuse nti again be say me emphasize say sexual abuse enya just penetrating any form of sexually explicit nyama bia pornography, all of that sexual abuse what CPS for shishim nti no awofo amutie yen ni nyina no se wonye nkwa na wo hwe akra na wo caregiver bia ya oboa wa sad ni nyina wo se because e betima ma wako CPS for nsem okoka kakra wo school and okoka kira adamfo po Emma adamfo ne okoka kira ne mame ana panyi bia hu pe obetimi a report it. Another thing so emotional or psychological abuse, verbal threats. To say and they say me highlight say make sure no me say I know the Africa for and promote Africa for community verbal threats because of the culture being identity. I know we won't cry where your parenting and I know we will get there. But and also say but some kind of weird punishment. They are chronic and dream. Even exposure to domestic violence, say be our intimate partner in the work, be a more chronic can be nasa chronic could be a much or be a obetimi afre CPS. I'm a CPS for our bravo. Into another category near emotional or like psychological abuse, domestic exposure to domestic violence, verbal threats, just unnecessary or bizarre punishments. Emankra, ultimate to a crap. Ne why you soon ding or catch any teacher pay bit me after. Which cransa, what tying up. All those things can emotional abuse. Into so betting up with this CPS for some more. But why an uncle for shut down costo prenatal abuse. I think some of what cost because if you are in Africa for no shut down your problems. Among your problem, no shut down cow. To say prenatal abuse, obi on him now if we are in drone near the end. So I say a test a crown and as a crown test positive and as a crown started a withdrawal symptoms. Nature say, no, you were actively exposed to. But your mommy show me computer.
Drugs or something like that.
Yes, we are exposed to drugs. Yes, I crown so you wouldn't because I don't know. So I change there, but meaning say one of the preliminary tests that was something to detect any kind of substance or whatever in them. San and hospitals again. I don't know. Now me what CPS no not your cases the brave for newborns because almost stay positive. Mama no no ya mpini mama me crown alpha crown and coffee. And now say a crown estative enya withdrawal symptoms. Who say who show mommy no near my drugs. Who are crown it sounds we drugs. Say we are UPA. It is just like every other person will go through, be all substance abuse issues, be our jaya or go through that withdrawal. The same thing. The child also go through withdrawal symptoms. The doctors need detective or mobile free. It's the abuse side, Me fan say physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional and psychological abuse, prenatal abuse. Those are the things that under the abuse, Emma yetimi ko DCPS and some. Say I mean trust and neglect no peace na
yamba ho tofa kakra. So near sister for Kenya na say CPS for bebe ofie di kan kan nipa omoye. Omo na betimi aka ma omaba ofie no yaka ni nyina. Na ji say maybe say den na be ma obi say teacher ni o say doctor o say o neighbor o wadanfo babysitter. And as a one cast crown, maybe I would back on my babysitter. One cast about babysitter, also a mandatory report because we do ban babysitter na ukofane bibia na usu hu a nyesa o kan wanu because the one can na say okodu school a de bebre wo fie now so akoka say babysitter no na babysitter na ya wo de one can until technically ye nyina ye reporters so then na maybe say then na be master assessment na ebetimi esi na obi akọ report e na wa bobo say ni nyina kọjina abuse ni che say ase wash akola ni pra na so pra no kwan bi so udi ni nya wo kwan bi so titi no kwan bi so nti no ka say physical abuse ni che say ase why ni bibi ma obi ade ni be hu say we pra obi ade ni be hu say we de ankoyi amakwala no nyama ebetimi de ni hu ye de ensesi so aka say we de wa ha akwala no and I talk about emotional and dangerous to me. That always says they're dangerous because they be a say so people now prana moja ba and do be able say we prana moja ba but I don't know what come man a wide dream obi anko this a woni ye bi kra dey no bia and phobia but the moment obi hu say we pun say trape obi adwene be ba hu say we say trante no help ne ba quickly into no abuse ni bi o why emotional na eno na hard dream pa eno so no yehu ya ekwan bebredi hu eno so nche say ye unfa weni hu na akomem ne na adwementi hu ne ndi ye oka bebi ti say withdrawal said akure bi o class na nsa me ye bi wo me class akra no a very cheerful boy after they do baby no towards the classes so towards the end of the semester me go say wa ka no ho amoa why din na oba na say dey be estre bi woni mani ade so I became worried to me friend mommy so bibi e course will fear na or special need aqualanti no or nanka sent to me expressing who ye na me friend so me who say oba na say nyama sisa like the way me pay or why din so bibi an course until apparently long story short me when he say ya can special need one say me when he say yes sisa classes no we say we money change autism especially change a big deal at the moment until yes sisa classes no now I used to one particular teacher, one group of students. Just classes now, okonya new teacher, now okonya new other ya mingle students, as to a post student, new change, Emma withdraw. Nti bibi sa no se bi a me frɛ no se bibi na ekɔ school fi a na parents ne kan ya me hu, but me study e hu say e change na ye wo school mu ho no and I affected because of ASD. But assuming say after some time he became okay. Until assuming say at twice, then I become more worried. But me who say me man the time kakra study no. I mean so that little change na ye wo school mo na money yes that. Into sometimes in the psychological emotional ufa we ni who say we pra. But ni ye no. I'm say you lose auntie for besa baso. Ni ye no ebe ma we who so bibi enko ye. And all can be about sexual abuse. The sexual abuse, yeah, kasem ne feel say be a sebi obi akoto obi mo na pe, but nyama be broba akwentu mu a nyama nketin e fa oba ni be ma hu ni ye bi wo wa hwe yi a ye beka se when di nipa ni ni say be a o kan say the pornographic say be a foni adeja wo movies adeja wo na o di church akwara no kasa enye eni di eni hu na wo kan na we yi wo kire no anasa ma obi yi no hu e de kire no wo si son me ha wa ma ni e so nkrofo ba bia anya se o so ni ade nyina na se obi eni koboswo a e beka se sexually no ya abuse e bi o ho a e bi ko ona betimi akoka se bia babysitter ho na wakona bibi sa akoso a betimi akoka wo school sometimes no nkola hwa ade bebre na bedu bebi na no so practice nti be ha se bia ba no bebe sura bia de wo se da bi akra wo hwe bibi anobi ka bibi egu na so anobi di ne saka ne bibi eno sa no partial almost CPS 40 ho asama mo fe ndi agro kra nti no ma me efo efri so me se metimi ama na babaka okay yeah
well,
all right sorry yes yeah attorney Elimpa I told you be back home
oh Debbie never can you
okay nti wakantini aka nyina kwan a CPS ko betimi abe ofie through abuse any kind eno ye one asa wotiti akola na neglect nso continue mami if am pacho beto aso am with the neglect part
yo that's it atie for emesrem ehuma no mo sometimes no about something yeah so neglect so dear no and then so senior abuse no you want different neglect no you different na me bubu me breaking it down am bia nti eno so your physical neglect be to say mama untimi and provide akra no the basic needs but you for muntie yen Ghana for muntie yen untimi provide aduane ma akra no clothing shelter and that the ya na tied to yen pa for especially more one crowd with special needs omuntimi and supervising cranny and I say and yet so omuntimi supervising cranny but it's a sign to me to cry na wa bra omo maame no mo hwe omo to say akra na ensu akofa no you know drowning and I say bia wo tuo wo dan efie wo mfa nhye baby ye na akra na kofa na wa discharge gunshot no na akokuna na akopra no ni nyina no e neglect se bibi sa sipe police bapa child protective service for ediso because no ye inappropriate supervision into under the physical neglect inability to provide basic needs for the child did you understand ntade baby or better if you're homeless you be first CPS into one of the neglect and educational neglect and so and so parents are on share money bank school I think say Georgia and then as a master sanwa me free child if I check a crab but meaning say maybe no I think so mom say 10 days consecutively within the school year or within a certain period of time I buy be who to say child neglect unless say nipa na yare and I can't remember numbers ni but educational neglect and it and say akrabia said the and right say when you are school to obeko school no pana be efie so oyare a no ho BBC no ho mati kwan Africa for your title kwan e no ho ni nyina na wo so school ni hu but say bibia nsi ye na akra no so nko school yetimi school ni timi report ma CPS CPS ba wo fie e be hwehwe mu ade konti akra no nko school into educational neglect so ye one big one and emotional neglect so ho akra bia hia sa obe nurture no obe gumi no obe show no love wo untite no ignore no say u janesi ho and I say we intimi those kind of and I wo isolating efini nuamu ana efini pemu wo chese ade bia obeye tete akra na akra ne koka ho asem wo school mu ana o de moko hospital for the check up na akra ne ekasa na oka bibisi ama doctor na doctor need to make fresh CPS into any emotional neglect and I medical neglect so say ni nyina na make and maybe enye nne na ebedu but eya na your exceptions kakra baby enu nyina ebeti embrebe ma ebetimi a chechim medical neglect so e was akre bia yare a wode ne hospital nti se wo ba yare a even though ye wo ba no e fa ne hye dem ntupu no mu e was wode ne hospital no betimi aye under medical neglect say one for na hospital timely now the neko hospital eventually na say doctor no say I then I was see symptoms na che ade life threatening nka ade betimi akun akue but what now sa afia sa ode ne ba no kra doctor no betimi a report again doctor no and he doesn't have to necessarily confirm say it's an actual neglect or if or suspect say or no ne field no one na ne nim de na or one as a medical doctor no or Felicia akra ne yare yare bia e was a parent bia wadwi mu da ho no wo de akra ne ba e bia within 2 days or 3 days now what now e bia time I say we are na say I too late now the neighbor no obetimi a report into medical neglect so enema we nyina ekoso and real into Africa for enemy ma me for mutie ni awo for mutie mu fanto mutie because me wo CPS no me Ghana for bebre it's say to na interest bi o why when nda wo so nti mu fa mu adisia medical neglect ya de bia me akasa personally me hu say Ghana for bebre were falling for it pa cases most cases yenya ya na Africa for na Ghana for specifically no sometimes they medical neglect and then sometimes emotional neglect no eti and also for her say wa akra na pomudin wototo na ase and another form of neglect is say abandonment to say waja wo ba to na say na usually no Georgia had na 6 months na ye bibia nti for the most things that we do na 6 months time frame it is for 6 months wo do beja obi wa manipa no wa ka say me kwa ha ba meba say jisika je aduane ma akra no ama nipa no so ate ase say o mehwe na ama na no an say wo de waja na to ho na wokọ eno ya abandonment and say wa so wo bansa na wo de da kọ gina be fast now de o mama wa abandon what discharge wo parental duty say e bi akra no mintimi hwe ne biem eno so CPS wo be som nti abandonment no for instance one case I make kai pa eye Ghana ni bi o de ne ba ma ne maame na o ne maame ni good terms papa and ono akasa ne maame o de maame ni good terms papa iti no just say bia o kwa ba one day no afi won ba o friend ne ba ne so ne ba na mfi iti o friend CPS eventually because what by abandon akra na man no ebi ono obibi ye woni na anka woni na tutututu so na weja akra na man iti abandon neglect ne bi no abandonment medical neglect emotional neglect physical neglect educational neglect tini nyina no se na matriarchy mu no ebeptimi kwan bi so a true neglect we mu bia no CPS betimi aba ofia na say obi ti ho asem na o ka che CPS fa wo bedi akire aba behwehwem lack of supervision is so very very critical pa nkra no bi no ha adwen na aso so senia obati bia no so we here help e was so we bisa and na the worst happens into say ora na untimi nhwa wo ba na wo so wan bisa help na akra no ma akra ne koyira CPS be pa police ba pe CPS na ebe to aso and na eba ne sa na yehwehwem na say truly no there's that element of inappropriate supervision which is part of the physical neglect piece na and no ye betimi age nya akra no ko hira he na age umanyina because witimi hwa ba kwa witimi hwa enti no neglect piece no and no a few other things and also so ya na etimi ma CPS eba awofo eba abusuamu ana eba hwehwe niam mu abusuamu so ye to say if there's any imminent risk of serious harm. And for instance, that is how it's coded in CPS 4-way. But I think that me breaking it down, they say, ebi amame, wanyim wo wawo. Me wa history, ebi a makra or child welfare mudida, system ni mudida. and no say CPS for doctors never fresh CPS for amomaba. Usually make I na me case worker no say me maybe parent binyim na me nimba of foster care that maybe I me manage case na me right say was many doctors no musha ma me ne kasa ma me ne wo ya they have to inform me say ma me na wo, then we will go ahead and go to the hospital and look into it and possibly remove the child too. She said, "Oh, I cried that foster care system anymore. Oh, pet, na so when you say, oh, pet, it was a CPS for Eba Beshisha same name. Oh, aha, inti, and only their own share than you, but because of her history, and also be also several substantiated cases, Ebia, no child welfare, CPS for about fear on different, yes, I know about it is a when you say pet. Now, hospital pay was a CPS form bra and Besham, because someone yes, sure, say, won't me show bow, buying some did that, and out to me shed their wow, no, and no, yeah, one thing, and it be also so we're losing back before a ebia, TPR, which is another way. Okay, so ebia, waja, wa abandon a baby, am I or no one can answer on the band side and child welfare office, it means me back. So on him say you're tinning to be asked on him. I was say because we sense some serious harm because if you listen on to me just like now when to me and share back because there have been times I will be at me work one because on pair crown. It is say, oh no, if you are buying you that now we system did that. Now you say when you pay. I was saying starting and follow who you pay. I was a CPS wants to be. See these are so in my on my end in some the abuse piece which constitutes a lot of elements, the neglect piece and so elements and the member see about the imminent risk of serious harm which is a parent we suspect that there could be a chance that won't mention because of history with Yang, because why away, because what give you parental rights, that all those things no so be ma CPS no so about ufi.
Wow. Okay. Anthony Pacho, can we be ana?
They are touching on as far as the legal side. Say abuse ne ba, and yet all. I'm not condoning it. So,
yeah.
The consequences, no, as in like you can't treat me.
And who's Susan? So no.
Aha. And yet all, and yet it said you automatically, ubano, free, no permanently. A process. We go through the courts, no, a process. And the law in Georgia, no, before I made you buy free forever and ever, no. The threshold also it's high.
Okay, so why I saw the nature.
Yes, more chances. Oh, and the whole process of investigating of even if we contemporary foster care, you can still reunite with Obano. Oh, so it's not like right away at Chihuahua. Obano could men found Obano who could join in Ghana as soon as CPS is involved. Just understand, say your process, your legal rights, and go through the.
Yeah, I want to remember what I but time I call back, now me wrap it up. This day for kind.
And let me know. And send all kind of media to so say CPS for any day. Omo baba investigate. Send all kind of
pass judgment.
Yes, because at the end of the day, omo dia omo ya no omo dia ni say call beba na omo apie. Now my coach or my acquisition, then it's the all kind of sanity, but near my abu swina CPS no beba. Yes, so that's what it is.
Okay, person me come check krana near auntie for can say ankoma ye di nyina ya chemu mi yenu say CPS for no mo bon kwala ho ban. Na as before me ba some be ju ban na se be nyama ne no nsem e di ban ya chemu mi yenu ba ku abuse and ba ku ye neglect. Abuse ni abubo so bebre se wa hye de prabofra no na wo ye nyame bi emma no and neglect no so say we bu nani egu nyame bi so if I'm right, I neglect word that makes me to say. Na maybe I only say a bad time. We are more banana on your sitting up and we bu any so. Example, or can say medically. When you saw a immunization or you're a sudden hospital, and it's an amendment about one yet. We bu any so where then she will be okay. No way, Johnny Fear and Abro so. A Bruce in a quiet situation you quit in a pay, wouldn't you professionals ni be who said that would ban taman can couldn't pen so say and I ban school so school the any here me pa because me all can I am a simple your course take attendance so 10 days straight so uba at 10 days straight now one free school ho say bia you 2 kwan oh or yare and I be saying more excusing na me dey say anope bia no me take attendance. It is a 5 days, 6 days straight spare. Or some of my lead teachers and I'm an administrator who say, Accra when we try school say it be 6 days. So you 10 days straight now, you bet disenroll, you bet you need a free school. First of all, you bet free. Your friend and Sanka, one for hospital be ambassador, you one free 10 days new do righteous say you be yakra be a free school. Into you do what their school be our most schools have social workers. Into the involvement of the social worker never try to follow up. Be a member of fear 10 days new tune in the free one or I feel on the Subayan Shimu. And women 19 are over register or banner your address, your phone number, and be a baby school. Sanya many so updating. So phone number, I'll do a series on that back to school. But say me find say phone number what's the son now I'm school na anye na ye from na ankwa 10 days ni be bia na genuine who reason bi ta friend in school but my friend number na wo me ho no dia friend me sanka 10 days ni do a we nya asem because be you need na fe a sha sha ba hwehwe nti no oba embe school amen from wo kwan say oba betini fie just I'll say it me excuse for a good reason. Na teachers here were Mrabi said parent be back so excusing the baby a 2 kwan BBSC family reasons binti. I'll say to me and Kati Akrani education instruction bet me prepare work near the end of the more say move 2 kwan move fanko and as a means be hard this you bet me course we can provide home help. Into no say 1 year ni na say 10 days ni do dia say you can bet me enya asem you better because abophobia or right to education. Won't mean in the coin, say more in education because of situation being tea. If you cry a hospitalized, Colabi or how many are hospitalized, we still go there and teach them. Until no to me for be you and say waiting a mebano or ye absent. And now can send a ubeja ranu if you're not be brain, so you're which and say me jammy banny will fear into the same be say age bang. And because abandonment now can a be or the nature be na walk one baby watch chin senior and a bisu which is the difference say oh me kwa ha but in a fear na me kwa ba and no patch among share me honica because on holiday now most of us are guilty right into no age bang in braniture say meet me jammy ba of fear hours do say me come market about me kwa dwuma ba yama kwa bebre of fear patch on mon church me ye na
okay, attorney.
Oh,
okay. You. So, and no abandonment, and no lack of supervision. Abandonment, it has to be to say what they will buy. Will be what brown man nippani who baby I won't put now. A bibini our friend when Jessica when JB and when Josh made me bad bro. Oh, me obviously or me call about 3 months now by that's abandonment. There are all kind of your supervision issues. To say, again, and Brano, laws and policies are changing with time. But the last time I checked, so I cried 13 years. Now we are for to me, John will fear. But you won't mean John is on shame crowd more younger than them. 13-year-old bet me, and this is Georgia, and I'm thinking it might be the same in other states because usually child welfare is, policies in the government or federal policies. I think it runs through the whole state. Or 13 years, to say, will be fraying. So, oh, my mean, the Biojani Baofi, me kono 13 years, I can write there not something to substantiate the case because 13 years, or no problem to me, I will feel. Say, Gianni or ho, Bibia or if you're a safe or bet me out. But me for 13-year-old now found crowd 5, 3, and guniso. And so now be junk crown. They have to be. I'm not sure if it's 16 or 18. I can confirm that, but I know for a fact that here we allow a 13-year-old to be fear by themselves. I will be uncountable. The moment I will do be become, so 16 or up or 18 or up is one of those. I just have to.
I think it's 60 because I know that 16 they can do some sort of hours of work. And so 16, most of them are able to babysit for money.
Yes.
Yes,
most
so
likely it's 16. I just have to revisit that.
Yes.
But yeah, that and no.
And I'm if you say 14 is the age of working. But I have to look at
I think that 14 depends on the hours, because ultimately more than certain number of hours based on your age. I mean, I told you, Pacho, when I was
yes.
That's the thing, and some dogs.
Yeah, but at least it's above 13. Above 13, there you can babysit. I believe so because you are able to work some sort of
I think with you being left, say a dear pressure when say a whole human being, it's 16 or 18. It cannot be 14.
Okay.
13 years, dear. Unless we are mentally or cognitively. And no, this is the exception. Even some boss seeing abuse and neglecting who buy a coat nima exceptions baby and I know say very woman but acronym cognitively into a caps is it caps? Yeah, it's a child care buying so we are 13 ya cattle qualified 13 you should be able to be home by yourself to government ain't here. But so you're 13 now cognitive ability disability be and say developmental disability be I know they are buying because we here. So that is how that whole concept came about. In the 13 years we are fine. Into our family mutie say moba 13 I'm betting major but so they are crack it to be shining inside there. I just say about 16 or up. Again, me double check is either 16 or 18.
And to kakra me say some of them can hours meaning say assistant I know say 12 it could be like I read somewhere on the way say 12 could obey me but 10 for just 2 hours.
It should be within a reasonable amount of time. You can't go all day. Yes, I think the next one I have a whole chart.
Yes.
Next time I'll just bring it and I can actually share it on the link. I have a chart as to how many hours you can leave, who, how, when, all of that. I'll bring that next time.
Because I had it because some Chrome had a bicycle, to be honest. And a bicycle, I say a bicycle. And on the Yabu be a yana confuse a bimurio who yania, the Baunyantia Siena, and more power. Either you do it well or you don't do it at all. Tia Honey, best about once and pass it. I cry a jam with fear, and who here because most of us, some way somehow guilty of this. But
and this is where cultural issues also come in. And again, I know we are not touching there today, so maybe
you don't want us to go there.
Just so you understand, CPS investigates some things, right? But there's a whole bunch of other departments and different things that investigates child abuse. Like so me touch a criminal side now, it has its own thing. Me touch divorces, it has its own thing. I can go into a wide variety. We can go to TPOs because I've had families
TPO near then.
Temporary protective order.
Okay, good.
Domestic violence, family abuse situation. Na kola wo mu a, ubetimi akọ jail ho. Na wa fill application. Na wode judge na kasa. Na judge na kasa okay. I agree with you. Say maybe there is some abuse going on, but say with the back court another day. No man the pakron so chance over can ask them. Na metie both sides. So I decided say abuse in fact happen now. So judge the who abuse I with me arresting pakron. No I go to jail. Or umbetimi aye so it's called consent agreement. Consent TPO. Say papa no for a period of 6 months or 12 months, no on back
Anna
mameno. On back and chain.
Me pass in the hour.
On the child support at all. Normally arrangement of custody. Why are Colana Bets and chess what so and also that and also me who be that were divorce cases. And I also in the divorce cases, in the middle of a case or even a custody case. A friend now for Boyfriend, girlfriend.
Yes. Like cohabiting and things like that.
But I bet me about court. I can say me pay investigation because me feel some I'm no busy akolano. Now judge na say okay, any yes me my guardian, yes me my akolano guardian, independent person. I will back. Obi share akolano no ne akolana kasa no investigate efie ni mienu na maame ne fie papa ne fie. Now a period of time where investigation we are obi catch a judge do say in fact who abuse who neglect and wine na yes akolano and in the so that is so. And then there's also the state of Georgia is one of the few states that child abuse registry and with me honey papa. So we did go to SWAT, not within a certain period of time. So when you would free, so by the time now court case the banner, a bit me that so permanently. And what me say from was nursing a Juma school a Juma went to me child abuse registry. So my representative will be also a diagnosis. So simple case of abuse is see or fear and police and friend automatically the state of Georgia court date said we have found out that there's some kind of child abuse going on and you're going to be put on a registry. It's in the background had to go in front of the judge, fight that case and get their name removed from the registry within a certain period of time. Yes, sir. Was see on to me nurse. She was in nursing school in and also and then, of course, there's the criminal side. There is first degree misdemeanor child abuse. That could be a child that, well, who said, wouldn't parents no, careful. Either violence, or physical, and as we say, did you na kolana witness say that's abuse. Okay.
But you know, yes, stop one and bohono so. I also no guiltiness, baby, hono. But yes, I'm boss will be on your patch and say bia ntokwa ba ekuni e and I say me family household for no ebia eba penyini ma me penyin and I say nana any member of the family akola bi wo fi hono nanti ase anya dwuma na modidi mo ho atam mo tietie mo ebia na mo kun ebia makoto mo nsa ba akoto no sa bone nyanko those kind of things mo cost wo fie na sa akola wo ho a but you say na opachre
I know you're afraid of cruelty to children. Okay, cruelty to children is so more degrees. There's first degree, second degree, there's felonies, it can go all the way up. And also camera bit macho. With him cameras are everywhere. So boba our public place, not camera chowa. You know, na ni pakroni free police, na police ne ba. Umit ma charge with cruelty to children in a degree. It could be felony. That's 5 years or 10 years, in prison. You could be looking at. And no say no in your case back could be now it was very, very sad. I'll catch you more later. But nonetheless, no say a misdemeanor charge kolana witness take care. Then it'll be up to $1,000 fine, 12 months in jail. But usually if you go to court, however the different scenarios, circumstances, no one, that's how the judge will decide the punishment for that. And then there's the higher degrees of cruelty. Say camera neche will say chakolana sum and I say buakolano rough. Or nakolano maybe when necessarily, but the way I now is so dangerous, say it warrants a charge no the amount felony so and also that no for them one, something called you want to get out of jail, prison it's by all means bond out. But one of the conditions of the bond no say won't get any contact with Akolano. So while you're waiting for your case to be heard, in Georgia, they have a long waiting list sometimes for some of these cases, for a period of a year, 2 years, who knows how long. Okay? Because you're agreeing, say, so free jailer or prisoner, you won't have contact with the child. So so there's a whole bunch of different levels.
Yeah, I said wait. But it's getting interesting. So me to say the word rough. Me question back me stand beside say me shall say me can say hey I'm the munkola but before I to be na where dear mun can say na yakọ mun churchire mu aha de munkola no mun chire mu ansa na yakọ
ansa na obe e bia question is me say me connect so that you who say me person me connected the oka any no ankasa and of course obviously she knows it too much. And it's good that
yes.
we have somebody like that here today. So me person me connected the discussion for today to what she's saying. I know there is a little bridge, and the bridge here is that to say CPS, of course, we are still talking about CPS for any identity. So again, CPS no the like because reports number whether it's substantiated. So when say substantiated case, na say if you on pass, and when all can say if there's true case of abuse or whatever, and then of course that's the legal side. The CPS at that time or transfer case in foster care unit, maybe a Jim Crano. Then the abuse, because I had to say abuse, no, you understand? That's where then it goes into the to that all that portion or that aspect of So again, there will be a case where CPS will go on and it will not be substantiated. You just close it. It be sometimes be quite a jealousy, be a whole not. They are just trying to pick on the other person. Nothing. Baby, no one it was a true concern, but then we show man who say be or no, then it goes. But once it's substantiated, it doesn't. The CPS work and leaves the scene then, okay? Because the criminal part or whatever other aspect, the legal aspect of the abuse, the perpetrator or whoever did the abuse will be handled, of course, in the legal. And no, I'm saying attorney, different types. But then CPS needed. So I just wanted to say this to bridge the conversation, and then what she said, So once a substantiated case comes in, CPS for you, foster care unit. Then they will move on to more investigation, whatever calls are coming. And then the legal aspect of whoever did the wrong, whoever did the abuse or whatever will be handled by the legal people involved. And see, this is the bridge. So I just wanted to put this in so that we can, it will maybe more better.
And just so you understand, sometimes me family lawyer and me clash with CPS.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Is that sometimes omo investigation is substantiate no word no. So it's my treatment. So who abuse.
I say bibia etre ahyen so bia na say adanse bi eche say amfani omo kan say no kre pa we na eche say no kre we na eche say nye no kre.
So omo investigation omo who bia. That's not the end. So we can take it up in different avenues. The first thing I make say so sense abuse a friend 911. Say who kunu so person or prakola no and so prawo or anything friend.
And I say we person prakola na.
And I say you person prakola.
Balance or hand.
Balance. Now the police now police ne say wuni they all canon the also canon yeah sure say when they kind of crowd faculty courts police with my sir. With my basin, like I said, we name who the cost to say to put the faculty quota. Then the next step, I may advise you say, couple apply for TPO, kind of temporary protective order. So the Nipacron be free, Apalan and free was you. It's go right away and no jail. Now I apply it, now I had court dates, and no so. It can branch different ways. So CPS funds are good because then you go to juvenile courts, you do the deprivation case there and so forth. But anyways, along.
And let me say something. Let me patch. Oh, I know. Say anytime you trigger BB or Mr.
Trigger.
And then we call break cry and come on the row. Miss Baby so.
The other one says, send your can I pat say, only we couldn't know about fear, not say, Bibinia for police. The thing is, Akrano is the center of whatever is happening. Police need to have CPS because that is, they have to do that because that is child protective service. Yes, she said, say, as something involving penny too, no. Now say, we are in the midst of it, okay, who is going to take care of the kid or who is doing what? Fine, but when the initials are happening, whilst in Tokwane be a crown, okay, for instance, Mako, me name me me boy for me, come say me fa akra no, ma me say on pene ma me fa akra na fe ye battle with akra no. Who for police would definitely involve CPS like automatically because the child is the center of whatever is happening. Into sometimes depending on the situation, CPS doesn't necessarily have to come in, but say akra won't feel na akra no some for akra no there. 99% of the time, the police, even if you call the police, they will also bring the CPS because of the child. No more are taking care of whatever they need to take care of on their end. Or by any they can go through the police system, law enforcement and whatever the process is.
But me bow to say be a banisana say be a parent in me, or say you're more free if you're then you still come in because a crown win you some protect a crown me boa. Say be a family member do or the make some of a crown and coho. Baby in what they are some making sure say parents me no you're more free for honey dear. A crown so baby or because unto me near my chinko jail and I said baby sir.
Yeah, okay. So Accra always have to have supervision. And maybe you do options that parents when these things happen that we can touch on those things because the child always have to have supervision. If you can't do it, a family member cannot do it, who is in line? So over child welfare system now we have with them our main cohort but there were other which even the state prefers a child to be. So if the parent cannot there, who is the next in order? Who is the next in order? We don't want to even consider foster care until that is the only way out. You understand?
Yeah, at the same school, Pacha Anche, the baby is to Pacha Muti, especially in the Georgia area. And until now, registration, bisa for contact, emergency. Me find say Obana Mrs. School bus. Na or school no hard. Normally, no, how a cranny best school day here school for any baby, and here was school, near here is our best school. Nemo baby school. That's also coffee, now went to me and coffee. And when I come back to start listening, I didn't know what church or say. Maybe I am friend. To send your can yes, you order a different. First of all, your best friend legal parenting. Your friend legal parenting, I say, yen son come movie. Then the next in line, emergency contacting. And also we are trying certain order. I think so with this time, school be a different, but school be home. And I said, when I count at least 2 people or more. Intino my first order now copy say last person. So beyond Fabia, then the principal has no choice. So child protection services for and I say police for say about Freebie, my trainer also principal school for so yamopon. Intino my trainer about 5 middle school actual 5 they no be on fee. About 6:30 nobody's responding. Principal no na kran in the school no one friend no so kran no be kire no nti ho no so ofre say mo be fa kran no nko ba bi na mo hwe ne maame ne papa me dem ko mi fi nti no san so na me didi say sister fu a kire say bibi ba na so say wo fo ne free fie ho a o me hwehwe kwan bebre so akopim say obi enu ho anse ne be ka sa kran no free fie ho na ananko aban mu ntenye say prekupe na okọ aban mu enko money dem di say bebi edu na ayed dan kasa me hia bebre so na me say beto aso ntino say munka yan wrap up na empon wa ha because and there Sunday be ko edwuma echinante no ye be wrap up wa na ya to aso ntino ende ye hia CPS ko edwuma and ehun say ye ya kwantu mu de ye culture aspect ni ndu ho but ye culture makwan ma nyame bi wo ho a ye nanso na mra no eya na abeka ye wo sa pan so ene na ye hia ende hu say abuse any neglect. I did do her Ghana and normal. It's okay, but it won't be okay. I did do her to say I so train him with Sanya Mano, and the one you went to me my way Janindi. I how Koyana a the assembly bro Ghana ut me the year. I mean it's not right, we are not promoted by it me the year. Not I will find out from away the free. But I hano, yes, Anya Mana say, so be more betting report. And from all that I've heard, me who say your man, baby, no more boy pa, and then the make parents be a betty program or so about mana basso. Because I be a never able boss with the 1 or 2 or 3 there. We are guilty of some of them, a lot of them, So, but why in your me, I don't know, no be a report or say a diamond. Because looks like some of them are very understanding. Colani be or me are very understanding because the man kitty be as the first say yes, and the men who say be bring a pa to say and can you feel and can Colani and can you feel a Caribbean because we just do it like a normal based on culture. But the we are anti funny sister in church, Moneta say the microscope and but it's good that we are learning you need buy a hustle. Who video na show na say who question be a try now there are two chats in the betimi so afre betimi email na ya responding ya questions boa ma yetimi ya discussion more two show no so na say our Facebook live is on YouTube we share your flyer no so share with other people because it's very very I think this is the best show of the starting way me patching because it's an eye opener. Yes, it's true, but when you hear from the horse's own mouth, our cases be bria. Na my dear no. Intinebia na udi for baby and enumerate no sister wadrin. Like I said, you see, ignorant is not what something of the law, right? Minimum the Emma unfa unhuedi. Emrani chiwa na cho. It's not an excuse. Thank you. Nti nyame ancha den so there system say excuse me enye bi because ye nchirechiri afa no mesa so afa kwenya we su na mada ye sisters me no mo ye Ghana for 100% awuti ya e no mo no mo adwuma no mo nti ne omo ka no nti na ye ka ne twi na ye nyina ya te ase yi nti ne da mo ase bebre pa cho mo final words bi na ye jam na mo ko nyame ya adoma next week e beto aso final words for sister Ellen obe ko first amame.
It's been a pleasure with our system inviting me. Hopefully, I was able to give some insight into a little bit of the law, but you know.
Okay, I said a little bit. I'm saying you better call law school. So a little bit now, you might.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Because it took 7 years or 8 to get this, so we can't do it like we can't do. Just show us a little bit. Never call you crass.
Yeah, touching on collaboration so as crass.
No, we'll come back. This series, I'm sure it may even end in December. We'll come back randomly. Yeah.
Because I know it's yeah, mano the kola school no nyoma ya omo ya
I think so before back to school I have a plan to do back to school series, so you may have to come back again so that you are 2 years banu for and some of school as for especially mom ko high school mom ko college in asifo we need to know a little bit of
taxi one more phone so no.
Okay, all right, thank you Tino. That's a new topic altogether. I'm sure we have saved the family from what we are doing. We have saved the family, we've saved the child, or we shouldn't see like, oh, you're better than a kasa. We didn't say, Yami Pesa of our we should not jet or battle being in battery, Amanimo, and I saw battle, Shufra Manim. This is for final words.
Oh, maybe I will be asking Miss Messia something new from your attorney. She seems very knowledgeable with the law, and and it's priceless. You have to pay so much money to get legal advice for anything. So me that phone you ask so much brain na era one TV before so you must see because akwenya no it's priceless and yet kasem kitwa nti do must say mama akwenya we ya so obi man so o mama your platform ayetimi the church share adwen ni ade do must
you overall me partner also me do bias because nyakasa no being a teacher no my baby like my senior my baby me say a parent so come I feel so blessed this evening. And I mean, who said I'm a sandam? Maybe I'm a casta be wanting a mechanism. That is not the last a series. Will come as much as time will permit you. I mean, some we are very busy parents, and I don't want to say, but we are parents of special need, and also the if remain until sometimes and then let us say something is going on, we need to take care of our own. But as long as when we get opportunity, we'll continue to share because we need to help our community. And we thank God for social media and internet. This time, when you say a workshop, this will be on this internet for a long time. We're ready to be there. Go back and play it and listen and get back to us if you need help. Next week. God bless you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay. I believe say calling beba na life questions and the more. So we are growing. We'll get there one day. So see you next week, and we'll be right here 6 p.m. Bye.
Thank you.
All right. We are off air now.